better. Hang on, guys. Let's see what we got here. It's been a messy day. Let's see if we can get old Buddha and his friend in the video. Close enough. Close enough. Okay, guys. Give me 1 second. For those of you that are coming from good old PLE's channel, welcome. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Give me 1 second because YouTube tends to frown upon. I have to monitor my own chat from a different device, and YouTube gets mad when you're doing it as your own person. So I just kind of have to switch it to my second channel. There we go. Ooh, there's a nubby. And then there's a fluffy. Okay. Little rub the tummy for good luck. Okay, before we start, if this is going to trigger people, then they can, deal with it. But, I broke a nail, so you're going to have to kind of deal with it. But happy Lunar New Year to everybody. And what, puppy? Puppy's always making a face. Okay. So, for those that aren't familiar with the Spring Festival, Lunar New Year, aka Chinese New Year, hey cemeteries. My mother-in-law was 100% Chinese. She was actually born in Jamaica, and her family relocated there before she was born to kind of work on the Panama Canal. But she was born and raised in Jamaica, 100% Chinese. And when I was married to her son, she passed down to me all the traditions and cultural aspects of the Chinese culture. And one of the big ones being the Lunar New Year celebrations. So, one of the things that I enjoy including in my home is the Chinese culture. As everybody knows, I am also Asian. Asian Indian, but Asian nonetheless. And so, being that we are very close in proximity to each other, a lot of Asian Indians will adopt some of the cultural traditions. They kind of borrow and trade from each other if you kind of go down to bare bones with it. So, it's a very interesting component of my life. My children really enjoy celebrating the Lunar New Year. Fluff now gets to celebrate it with me. So it's a lot of fun. We enjoy it, and I like to include it in my readings because it's a different component to readings, not just basic tarot. I know a lot of people are like, they like the tarot because they like quick and easy answers. I use the tarot for different reasons, and I use divination for different purposes. Mostly it's for ascension based things, such as, you know, just, enlightening, healing, uh, learning how to move on from something, just basically growth in its essence. So that's what I use the tarot for more than I do for like prediction based things or anything like that. To me, the tarot forms of cartomancy of any sort are really about like a pictorial version or visualization of something that will help you see in order to be able to manifest what it is that you're trying to achieve. And I know on my basic readings, my basic all signs readings, or traditional all signs readings that I typically do on my channel, you'll see me go, down the 12 signs of the zodiac, and we kind of just see what energies come through. And which is great, and it's helpful to a lot of people and entertaining for a lot of people at the same time. It's, kind of cool to see. It's kind of like the same principle of cracking a fortune cookie. Everybody does that because they really want to see like what might be coming their way or what they might need to look into or anything like that. So, and for some reason, I apologize, guys, for some reason my cat is really angry right now. So she is not dealing with the other cat that's in the room. She's been very much growling at him, and I don't know what the problem is. So if you hear like some growls in the back, it's my cat. Um, so last year, I got gifted this awesome golden Buddha because I was going to do the readings last year, but I don't remember what exactly happened, and the readings didn't get to happen. But traditionally on the Lunar New Year, it's the same way we celebrate like our traditional um, our egregoric calendar New Year is if, you know, on New Year's Eve, you get together and you celebrate the oncoming New Year. However, the Spring Festival or Lunar New Year can go on for a while. It goes on for about 2 weeks typically. And there's a lot of celebratory properties that go along with it. Kind of like, you know, we have the 12 days of Christmas. You know, it's more than just Christmas. It furthers and there's more to the traditions and everything when you really get down to it. So, in typical Chinese New Year, you'll always see these red envelopes, and people always ask, like, what's the significance of them? Well, red is the color of prosperity, happiness. You know, that's why you see a lot of stuff in Chinese culture that has red or gold. Gold is enriching, obviously. It's going to bring monetary prosperities. In the Chinese culture, we will do things like completely clean your house to prepare yourself for the new year. Refill your rice container because it brings abundance, making sure you're sweeping all your dirt outside of the door. And you want to make sure that you're leaving, you know, gifts for Buddha or whatever deity that you are, you know, praying to. You want to leave certain trinkets by the door so that it brings in prosperity. There's a lot. There's a lot. That's a very, very vague description of what goes on for the festival. And you know, at midnight you eat moon cakes to bring in enrichment to your body and into your home. There's just so many really cool things about it. So in the red envelopes, you'll usually typically get money, or any type of little trinkets that people want to give you. The Chinese coins that you see right here with the square cutout in them are something that typically are placed in these envelopes. And I went looking for mine because I had them out and I can't find them. So I apologize. The reading that we're going to do, I'm going to move these out of the way. I've got 3 different cards that we're going to use. One of them is the Chinese fortune reading cards right here, and the Chinese tarot, and everybody's favorite, the fortune cookie deck. So, I kind of hate that that's showing. It's so ugly. But, oh well, we couldn't show Buddha if I just had it facing downwards. So, we want Buddha to enlighten this. And at the end of each sign, and we're going to do the zodiac, the Chinese zodiac. So, if you are not familiar with your Chinese zodiac, you need to go look that up right now. It is based on the year you were born. If you were born between the months of, let's say, December and February, because the Lunar New Year does not fall on the same day every year. Sometimes it doesn't even fall within the same month. So when the year transitions, you need to pay attention to when that year transitioned, the year you were born. So for me, example, I forever thought I was a rat based off of, like, you know, just being that I was born in 1984. But the Lunar New Year didn't happen till after my birthday. So I have to go off of the lunar cycle of 1983. Does that make sense? Hopefully it does. So I'm actually a piggy. So at the end of each one, we will go and do our fortune scratchers. So that'll be a little something fun, right? Right? We're a little chaotic with this one. We haven't done a Lunar New Year reading on the channel yet. So this will be the first one. Hey, you, sit up. Sit up. And I apologize for the messiness of the area. We're moving things and moving, as a matter of fact. So a lot of stuff is kind of all over the place. And I'm kind of having to make do with the space that I got. We're going to move these over because they keep falling. So what we will do is we're going to start off with our Chinese fortune card. And then we will go and clarify it with the Chinese tarot. And then we'll seal it off with a fortune cookie card. And then we will scratch our fortune for each sign. Sounds good. I hope it does. So while I'm shuffling, if you want to go ahead and Google up what your Chinese zodiac sign is, so that way you know where you are in this reading, you can do so now. I'm totally not digging up on, okay. But it's kind of weird to see Buddha, like, you know, just a stomach and some boobs. Like, I needed to, like, stage this a little bit better. Alrighty. That should work, I guess. Okay, so the first sign of the zodiac, or the Chinese zodiac, is the sign of the rat. So if you are a rat, then this reading is for you. And don't listen to the signs as far as, like, you know, what the animal means in our Americanized brains or anything like that. You know, just because it's a rat doesn't mean, oh, it's, you know, a ratty person or anything bad. There are characteristics of each animal that people believe that the person born of that year possess, but the attributes of each sign or each animal are quite different in the Chinese culture. So if you want to learn more about your sign, I suggest going and looking it up. Like, this year is the year of the rabbit, and rabbits are very timid, believe it or not, and they actually bring a lot of prosperity, and they have an enriching purpose in Chinese culture. The emperor is seen with a white rabbit or a water rabbit, typically in the Chinese dictations of the emperors. And so it's a really cool component. It's a very important component. And it is said that this year is supposed to bring a lot of abundance because it is the year of the rabbit. So let's get these all shuffled up. And we have celebrations. So with this card, meaning that there's going to be a lot of celebrations going on in your life this year if you are the sign of the rabbit. We're going to go ahead and put the, maybe like this. This ought to help us a little bit. There we go. So celebrations. That'll work. So we'll take our Chinese tarot. And this is the third card in the deck. So the number 3 is going to be significant to you. So it might be a number that you need to look out for. There might be something going on in the month of March for you. You may have 3 children in your family. You may be seeing things in triplication this year. There might be something that's coming to you in 3 folds. Some people would look at that in the karmic sense, and in the same way you can look at it that way. But remember, this is more or less like 3s are not karmic significant signifiers in the Chinese tradition. So you can look at it in that 3 folds conversion if you're one that studies or bases energies off of karma. So we have the High Priestess. And we have, let's get a couple more cards out here. We have the Wheel of Fortune, and we have the 9 of Cups. So what I am seeing for you here is a lot of change as far as your luck is concerned. Fortunes and money, and just, like I said, your luck, your family life, your quality of life, all that is changing for the better. And with that 9 of Cups right there, signifying abundance, signifying, you know, having everything that you need. You may not have everything you always want, but you definitely are going to be having everything you need. And with that High Priestess card right there in the forward, you're going to find out that everything that you've worked so hard for is what is going to come into fruition for you. And with that celebration card back there, you're going to be finding that you have a lot to celebrate this year. There could be a marriage coming. If you're planning on getting married this year, I mean, this is going to be a perfect time for you to do so. Especially if you're getting married in like March. But, you know, maybe use the number 3 as a factor in your wedding plans. Maybe do things where you have a third person involved in something, some component. Maybe you do things in sets of 3, organize things in components of 3 or divisions of 3. So consider that. That's what I would look at for you this year. If you are the sign of the rat, it's going to be a really good year for you, it seems. So let's pull your fortune cookie card. See if we get anything else. And you have love. Love is in the air. A great time for commitment and taking relationships to the next level. So, like I said, for those that are planning on getting married, this is definitely your year, rat. So, congratulations to those. Maybe there's somebody out there who decided, they were, questioning whether they should, pop the question or anything like that. So we're going to go ahead and select a Chinese fortune for you. And these are kind of like, scratchy lotto tickets. So let's see. I need a coin. I didn't really think this through all that well because mostly I usually have fluff around when I do readings for the public because I do my readings in the office, and the office is where we have all of our rescue animals. Because we don't like them in the main house. Not that we don't like them in the main house, it's just more difficult, and I have a child with allergies. So here we go. Let's see. Alrighty. For those by the sign of the rat, we have wish you happiness and prosperity. Wish you happiness and prosperity in the coming year. I didn't totally scratch that off. So lots of good stuff coming for those that are derived by the sign of the rat in the Chinese zodiac. How cool. I'll take my dirty penny elsewhere now. All right, so next we have the ox. Those of you that are under the Chinese zodiac sign of the ox, this is a reading for you. And for those of you joining me tonight, thank you for coming. I know it's late for some, early for others, mid-evening for others. Either way, I love having you here. I love having you be a part of the channel. If you haven't hit that sub-a-dub-dub, please do so now. And also, if you haven't hit that like button, please do so and let it know how much you love it. Because the sub button is a very neglected soul and it has codependency issues and it needs to be, given, needs to be given good love this year because the like button felt like 2022 was not its year. All right. So for the sign of, I'm sorry, for the sign of ox, that got caught in my throat. Okay. For the sign of the ox, your card is number 16, the karma card. Now, I've talked about karma on my channel in brief before, but a lot of people seem to think that karma is solely you get what you give, what goes around comes around. And that is an important aspect of it. It very much is, because karma is all about action. That's literally what the word karma translates to, is the word action. So so you shall be. It's all those things of, put out there what you want to have in the world. That famous phrase of be the change you want to see in the world is very much a karma driven quote. It's, everything in the world that you experience has a action and a reaction, and it also has a consequence. And when we say the word consequence, we always think that consequence means, you know, both good, or it only means bad, but it actually means both. It means, you can have a positive consequence to something. It's just, yes, my mom is a karma quote. She really, truly is. You'd know, Plevis. You and my mom hung out that one trip, so she's very karmatic. So we're going to go ahead and clarify what this karma card will signify for the sign of the ox this year. All righty. clarify this karma card with the Four of Coins. So all about conserving this year. So as to where last year you may have had some issues with money, this year might be a year that you are able to flip that. And if maybe last year you were a lot more careless with money, you're going to see the effects of that this year. You're going to find that you have a lot more issues with paying bills off or catching up with things. This is your hubby's year. Well, good, 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 good. And the Six of Staffs. So things that are happening as far as the karmatic sense with money are going to be happening quick. You're going to be noticing that you're really trying to run the wheel to catch up with things. And it's all the consequences of making, choices that did not reflect something that you truly wanted, or maybe it did reflect something that you truly wanted. Maybe because you've paid off your bills and you did so in a timely fashion. You put down that Starbucks, or you maybe didn't go on that shopping trip or whatever, and you saved and paid and did what you needed to do. Now you have the ability to enjoy the fruits of those labors. Maybe your credit score has increased. Maybe, you had put money into savings and now you can apply it towards whatever future endeavor that you so should choose. So that's one aspect to look at the karmas. The other is very much so the opposite. If you were not being, very good with money, you will find out that, it's going to come back to you in the sense of like, you won't be able to go on those trips. You won't be able to make those purchases that you wanted to make, things like that. And with that Queen of Swords in the reverse, what I'm seeing here is maybe you weren't making the best abilities with your money. You weren't applying it in the places that it might have needed to go. So maybe it wasn't that you're behind, but maybe things didn't mature and grow. Maybe your savings didn't, come into fruition. Maybe if you were invested in stocks or anything like that, maybe those didn't grow because you probably didn't listen to the advice of the brokers or anything like that. Maybe you weren't completely paying attention to things. Or maybe you overspoke, things like that. Maybe you thought things were going to go the way you wanted it to, and you might have, embellished it as such, but then in the reality, things did not go in those directions. So let's go ahead. That's my Sneaky Pie. Hi, Sneaky. So perseverance. I have here. You may feel like you are getting nowhere, but there are wonderful changes ahead, and don't give up. So at any point, things can change, okay? At any point, you can make decisions that bring forward what it is you desire. You can put the brakes on or put the gas on at any point, okay? So just because right now things are reflecting of the original behaviors does not mean that it has to stay like that. These are just, it's like staring in the mirror going, this is the only way that I can possibly look. No, it is not. At any point, at any second, you can make changes to change anything. And that's why we have karma in this world, okay? Just because you made a mistake doesn't mean, yes, you're going to pay the karmas for mistakes made or for things made, for actions that occur. But let me tell you like this, it at any point your consequence or the result thereof does not have to be, the cross bared on your back. No, you can sit there and rectify things. You can definitely, change outcomes. You can say, okay, look, I'm going to go at it from this angle. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to have a redirection moment. And that is definitely what karma is all about. So I want people to remember that, I always say a person can change their stars at any time. Nothing, even things that are carved in stone. We all know that stone decays. It's a tangible object. It's not as consistent and always and forever as people think. It might be there for a while, but that doesn't mean it's the always. All right. So next we have Tiger for the sign of Tiger. Give me that. Karma wanted to stick around. Okay. For those that are under the Chinese zodiac symbol of Tiger, you know what? We didn't scratch your scratcher. Why didn't you guys say something? Okay. So for our oxes. Let's see what we got here. Got the bunny rabbit too. You know, these like scratchers are weird. Or maybe I'm not scratching hard enough. Nope, that's a dud. Throw that one out. Sorry. It like didn't scratch off enough. Okay, maybe I need a better coin for this. Because it's like, I feel like I'm pressing it in there. Yeah, burn the card. Like, I feel like I'm pressing it into the thing that I'm more than I am scratching it off. All right, so your fortune is... Try to see what that says, because I think I messed it up. Wishing you the celebrations that are destined to come. All righty. Okay, so yeah, we're gonna move those out of the way. All right, now back to the tigers. Messages for tiger. All righty. And we have freedom, the 23rd card. So, freedom, that's an interesting one. Maybe there's some things that you need to let go of. Maybe there are some things that are no longer holding you back, that you're no longer feeling, yes, you are late. How dare you be late? It's Machu. What you doing, little one? My little Ouija kitten, who's very curious about the stuff that goes on the desk. All righty. So freedom, which is ironic here. No, you know I love you, Machu. You have the devil in the reverse, which is a card that in its upright, the devil talks about, you know, all the things that control you, that, you know, make you feel that you are bound to something, whether it's addictions or, you know, it can be mental health issues. It could be things that seduce you, you know, things like that, that lock you in, that draw you in, you know, dare I say unethically. And then you have the King of Swords in the reverse. Hi there, little one. Don't do that. Yeah, he got lost. He snuck in behind PLE's mask. That's what happened. PLE finally lifted the mask, the sweat dripped down, and Machu slid on in. All right, you wanna show everybody how cute you are? Is that what you're trying to do? Yes, you are. Okay. Say hello. Say hello. I the New Year kitty, and I want everybody to see me. That's why I keep wanting to climb on mommy's desk. Okay, go lay down, baby girl. All right. Yes, that's her name is Ouija. Ouija Rose. She's so cute. You're so cute. It's a baby. Okay. So, and the Three of Coins. So, Three of Pentacles. In the traditional sense of the tarot, it would be working together on something. It would be in the form of if one is the start of something and two is progress into it, is action towards it, then three would be the, you know, formulating and gathering for that plan. So as you see, he's in the person that is depicted on this card is very much striving to hit the target, but he's a soloist at this. You know, he is not, you know, including people in his situation. He's like, no, I'm going to aim at my targets on my own. And this is definitely somebody who's probably coming out of a commitment of some sort. It could be a romantic commitment. It could be, you know, just a situationship or whatever. It could also be a mental health thing. It could be any of those things that you really thought that you might have needed to depend on something or someone or have an inclusion of that aspect, and you found out you don't need that. If you've heard the new Miley Cyrus song where she's like, I can buy myself flowers and I can hold my own hand. Yeah, you've heard it. It's been all over social media. But in that aspect, I tell people that being codependent on someone for happiness, for money, for, community, for anything, having that need, that reach out that says, if I don't have them, then I am not, is a really hard predicament to be in, because if you're going to rely on anything, you're at the mercy to it. So if that fails, then you no longer have, or you are unavailable to that component of your life that you wanted or worked for. So I want you to remember that you don't need of anything. You have everything you need within you. So if there's a part of you that feels like, no, if I don't have, and when we have our spouses and people and our children that we love very, very much, we credit them for being our happiness. But the truth of the fact is that because they are a part of you, there is a happiness that can occur, but that happiness doesn't diminish or deplete because the absence of one person or thing. That once that happiness exists, it becomes part of the energy of the world. It exists, right? So we will constantly say, that because I had that happiness was because of the components that were around that made that happiness. And the truth is, if you get a little bit more deeper, a little bit more profound, you will find out that no, that was just an alignment of energies that were cultivated to create that happiness, to create that vibration that made you feel good and made things stand out. So when you find out that you have the capability to do that at any time, any place, anywhere, you are free from the restraints of the world that tell you that you cannot. Okay? So therefore, nothing truly restrains you. It may redirect you. It may give you a new path that you didn't consider, and it might actually be a little painful in that stretch, or inconvenience in that stretch. But it very much is an opportunity for you to do things and, create anew and create a ability to find something different in this world that you would have overlooked naturally. Okay? And in that is a lot of freedom. Alrighty. So, well, that one popped out right away. We have future. You may travel or host an overseas traveler soon. Either way, great social fun awaits. So maybe this year you're going to do some traveling. Maybe you're no longer going to be grounded. Maybe you're moving. If you're coming out of a relationship or coming out of a situationship, maybe that forward movement might mean a physical relocation or somebody else traveling to you. Maybe you're going to be cultivating new fellowship. You know, possibilities are always endless. So, for our wonderful Tiger Gang, let's see what your fortune says today. All right, so we have, may the new year bring you and your family happiness, health, and great success. Cool. So, lots of great things that would be involved in freeing yourself from whatever that it is you may have felt restrained to or constrained to. Alrighty. Next, we have the rabbit. So, this is your year, and we're going to go ahead and see what this year brings our rabbits. Alrighty. I'm going to try to see if I can get a jumper. But when the cards are so big like this, it's hard. All right, trust. Number 29, the trust card. And as you can see, the Emperor is on that card. So emperors tend to require the trust of their people, but they also are, everything they do is based off of respect, trust, sorry guys, you know, you must follow your emperor, so you must trust him in order to follow him without reservation, right? So let's see. It's a new deck too, you guys, so taking a second to break in. I bought it last year for the readings, and I've only had to do like one reading for last year's Lunar New Year for someone. So it's not totally broken in. And I have a lot of decks, and everybody always asks, what do you do with all your decks? And like, they have purpose. 5 of coins. So changes. Maybe not the best changes. Okay, I'm going to take that one because that one hit. Lots of changes with money, tangible things. Let's see what this card is. 6 of coins. Okay. Even though we are having financial issues, tangible issues, you've got the 5 of coins, but you've also got the 6 of coins. And see, as the number goes up, even though they are in the reverse, and you have the King of coins. So you have, yes, you're experiencing things being a little bit more chaotic, probably with money, tangible things in your life. Could be relationships, family unit, things like that. Things are moving forward. So right now, what you need to do is trust the process. Okay? Trust the process, because what's going on right now is probably showing you that new path, that new ability, that new stretch that you may not have thought about originally. You may have actually been resistant to it, and that might be why these are in the reverse. So what I'm seeing right here is trusting the process, trusting higher authority, trusting those with advanced knowledge in order to gain the security that you're looking for. And I'm really, see what I mean? Hi. Hi. Did you need a reading? Yeah, did you need a reading, little one? Okay, let's come down now. She's so cute. You need to go sit on the floor, sweetheart. Yes, you need to sit on the floor, okay? Sorry, people. She's very curious. Okay, so back to what I was saying. Trusting the process is what's going to bring forward the maturity of the situation or the security of the situation that you were originally looking for. But let's go ahead and pull your fortune cookie. Yeah, she's super cute. She's a little baby. Communication. Okay, and that's always big with trust. Trust, respect, all that communication really does bring that forward and actually establishes it better. So, a reunion could bring love or a rekindling of a friendship. A lucky win seems likely. So, if we're looking in that of what these can bring, if it's not a monetary thing, we go into that tangible sense, which also could be things in your waking world. Maybe there was something that went awry, a friendship, could also be, like I said, relationships and stuff. Maybe things that we thought were no longer happening. Um, I know she wants a reading, huh, sweetie? Um, Things that were probably on the outs, and we find out that overall, we needed back that back push, that back pull in order, kind of like a slingshot. We needed to go backwards in order to go forward, and that could be trusting in the process. But make sure we are definitely focusing on communication, rabbits. We want to make sure that the things that we are securing are secured because we have that full transparency so that things don't go backwards again. Establishing that trust, establishing good communication, all those bring forward respect and prosperity, and they don't give us any room for absence of, truths, things like that. Okay? All good things for you, Rabbit. All right, and let us get your fortune card. Here we go. I am scratching it. I'm just using my nail this time. And you also have, may the new year bring you and your family happiness, health, and great success. So I'm getting that these cards are probably going to be pretty generic, but fun nonetheless, right? Next is our dragons. So those that are under the zodiac sign of the dragon, this will be for you. Fluff must have had a hard night closing, because usually he would be home by now. But believe it or not, Fluff's been at work for like 11 hours today. Poor guy. But, he works hard since little old me is having all these health problems. So I have had to take a little bit of a back seat with a lot of things. So he has been picking up where I cannot. So thank goodness for a Fluffins, huh? Get down from there. Okay. Heaven, the 36th card. All right. So heaven is basically opening up our minds, thoughts, and abilities to listening to those of our higher calling. So ancestors, things like that. Really, it can also be opening up to communication in the spirit sense, but obviously with spirits that we would trust. Okay, not just like opening up to any spirit, but to calling upon of spirits that we trust. So usually it's talking to our ancestors or calling on their energy, or perhaps they are presenting messages to you this year. So let's get some clarification on this for our awesome dragons this year. Oh, I keep hitting the camera because it's right in front of me. So we have the 9 of Staves, which that would be wands in the traditional tarot. And we have 8 of Staves, which directly landed on its side. So maybe you're not you're trying to communicate, or maybe these messages are coming from them and you're kind of resistant to the messages. 10 of Staves. Okay, so there is a lot of fiery, intense energy coming from this reading. And sometimes you are open to the communication as it comes through, and sometimes you are not. Sometimes you don't, when spirits communicate with us or we get messages, sometimes we relate them and sometimes we don't, or maybe we're not relating them properly. Maybe we're letting too much of our ego in and we're not taking the message as it is meant to come through, but how we want. Sorry, guys, I've been having a lot of issues with the internet. This is why, holding off on the readings, because it's been difficult to keep a connection because we've had so many bad storms and so many issues with our internet because of the flooding and things like that. So now you know why. Okay, but like I said, I'm going to do it for the third time. Third time's a charm. The messages that are coming through, or maybe even the ones that you're giving or you might be receiving, might be coming through based on an egotistical plane. And the narrative that they're fitting, or we're trying to make them fit, is one of a self-derived imposition versus, the actuality of what it is meant to be. So with that 10 of, with that 10 of staves energy, it's a completion. It's what is meant to be will be. Ultimately, you are understanding of the messages that need to come through, and even your path and workings through these messages. But maybe things aren't coming through as quickly as you want, or maybe, like I said, there's a hang up with the understanding component. I think the overall goal you have an understanding with, but the communication point in and of itself you're having the issue with. Okay, so just be very open. So I had a close friend of me say that they kept seeing a lot of angel numbers like 333, 555, 1111. And I said, okay, you can go and look those up on the internet, and they're going to give you a very basic everyday response to those numbers. However, I want you to pay attention to where you are. What songs on the radio? What are you thinking about? What were you doing when those numbers came to be? And write that down or keep a conscious note of it, because that is also going to be a signifier. You can pay attention to what you were drinking. You can pay attention to what you were wearing. How much money was in your wallet? Things like that. All of these components happen in, manifestive thoughts, and energy thoughts. So pay attention to things, not just so much the number and the message of the number, but the components of your life in exchange with that number. Okay. So pay attention to that. All right. And we have difficult times. Be on your guard against chaos, as unforeseen perils of or emotions upheaval are foretold. Okay. So if you had a loss this year, if you had a person that you lost this year or anything like that, this could be talking about that. But also know that even though you're going through a difficult time, the person that you lost is always there in an energetic form. People who say that I don't stutter don't realize how bad I stutter, so I apologize. But and it might be a difficult time getting over that or through that, or maybe you are just naturally going through a difficult time, and your ancestors or those that you love are trying to communicate and help you get through this difficult time. So just be very open to the messages as they come through. Don't try to fit them in necessarily with your thoughts. Try to fit them in as they come through. And I know that might not make a whole lot of sense, but meditate on it. Clear your mind. Don't give it a rhyme or reason, because remember, ego speaks from the past. Intuition is always forward facing. Ego is always backwards facing. So if you're relating it to the history, if you're relating it to a past, if you're relating it to anything like that, that is ego. If you're like, that just came out of nowhere and this is what it made me feel, that might be intuition. So keep that in mind, okay? And let's get your little scratchy lotto thingy here. All right, and you have, may the new year bring you stability, gains, and acceptance of what is to come. Oh, that's a good one. And I think that's very fitting. All right, so we have the snake. So if you are the zodiac sign of the snake, then this one is for you. All right, we're just gonna go ahead. These are getting a little difficult for my tiny little hands. So you also have heaven. So messages from above, or messages of our ancestors, messages that are coming from a more spiritual place. All right. So we're going to give this a couple of shuffles. You're a snake too. Alrighty. So messages for the zodiac sign of the snake. Alrighty. The Empress in reverse. 3 of Cups in reverse, the Empress in reverse, and the 3 of Staves in reverse. So all threes. And then you have 36 right there. So pay attention to threes in your life. So if you've been experiencing a lot of threes, this one might reiterate some things with you. Okay, so the Three of Cups is, you know, when I see the Three of Cups, it's um obviously cups being water and emotions, things like that. When I see the Three of Cups in the reverse, because usually Three of Cups is celebratory energy, and when it's not, when it's in the opposition, you look at it in the sense of like maybe you don't have a lot to celebrate if somebody has passed away or anything like that. Maybe you're in absence of them, so you don't feel the celebratory energy. And it may have been for those that are, it could have been a wife or a mother or a feminine aspect, that in absence of, with that Empress in the reverse. And with that Three of Staffs, it's like, you might be having this feeling of, you don't feel like really continuing on with celebrations. So maybe holidays or pivotal moments, things like that. But we really need to open our hearts up to what's going to be coming through message wise. Obviously, when a person leaves us, they don't have the intention to leave us wanting us to never enjoy another day of our existence. So it's, what happened with Florina? Oh, sweetheart, I'm so sorry. Um, they clearly do. If you hear sirens, I am so sorry. They clearly do want you to continue on in their memory. Remember, we just talked about when happiness becomes of an energy, it becomes of a you know, existence in and of itself. It is not just the person. It is not just the place. It is not just the experience. It is everything. And we create that energy. We allow that energy to exist and become of our integral being. And there goes the neighborhood puppies. They always howl every time they hear a siren. So I apologize for that. They will stop, it will not continue. But I think that siren had to have been close by because it didn't last very long. So, um, with that Three of Staves right there, that Three of Wands energy, it's, when we're looking towards the future of something, we're looking towards, having that be a part of us for a long time. When we're almost robbed of it prematurely, it's a very difficult thing to have happen. I can relate. When I lost my dad, no matter how much I knew it was going to happen, nothing prepares you for that moment that you are going to be in absence of something that is, or someone that is so important to you. So, for those that have experienced loss or are experiencing loss, just know that this person, or this situation is going to be communicating with you. Okay, that is a big signifier that that person not only is reaching that path of enlightenment, but they also know how much that you meant to them, and they want you to know how much you mean to them, and they will be there. They will definitely be there. You will see signifiers all the time, and we always do. Take them as they come. Let them comfort you in the moments that you need. Let them guide you in the moments that maybe you are seeking that direction. And you know, let's get a fortune cookie, because I really feel like there's a message in that. There's actually two. Okay, we're gonna take them both. Like, I felt the need to say more, but then I was drawn to the cards. So okay, so I have love life and sexuality. Affairs of the heart could cause future problems, but take heart, as difficult situations will resolve by a good decision this week. Existing relationships could find a new passion and heightened sexual attraction. Opportunities for marriage, a good family life are strong, but if single, beware of temptation that could lead to trouble. A child will also bring great joy. Okay, so if you are in a situation where you may have lost a spouse or anything like that, for those that applies to, this person is obviously going to be guiding you towards making sure that you are still fulfilled in this world. That you are still knowing that you are loved and deserve to continue loving. Now, the person that passed or the messages from heaven may not have been from a spouse, um, but maybe they are guiding you, or they will be guiding you on something that's going on in relationships with you, more specifically, romantic relationships. This is somebody that obviously, wanted you to have a very happy and fulfilled life. And you know what? If you have moments where you're like, look, what's going on? What do I do? Even if you're single, this, think about this person, or, have a calling to this person, because I think that the direction you seek might be coming from them. Alrighty. That might be interesting for a few people. But we're going to go with the messages as they come and not so much as we want them to be. All right. So I got a scratchy. And so, wishes for happiness and prosperity in the coming year. All right. So, making those things that need to mature, maybe in the love life or with romantic relationships, that guidance, those things will mature. Okay. All righty. So, we are now on horse. So, those in the horse sign, this message will be for you. You're welcome, sweetheart. All righty. How is this happening? Like, is there more than one heaven card in here? No. Like, how am I still? Okay. We're going to do this one more time. So keep heaven in mind. So messages from above, all right? Maybe I'm the one that needs messages from above. All right, let's try this. We're going to try the do. Like, why would I? But okay, this one. Marriage. All right, we'll go with that. So, the heaven one is also messages from above with this. So keep that in mind too. So, marriage unities, unifications. Obviously, things going on within marriages and unions. Could be yours, could be someone you know. Could be your parents, best friend. Knight of Cups. So there might be somebody who wants to come forward with a very solid proposal to marriage, or perhaps if you are married, there is going to be something that basically jump starts your marriage again. You might be going on a second honeymoon, things like that, just a really good retreating trip, or maybe you're just going through a time where you're better understanding components of your partner with that Knight of Cups energy. And the Two of Staff right there, that one always signifies marriage, well, not always, but it's a very celebratory card that represents like unifications and unities and marital celebrations. And right here it is shown with this older couple that have, clearly they're married, or unified, if you will. So this is a very good card. I mean, this is a very strong energy towards a couple, a unification of two bodies and souls. And with that Page of Coins, I mean, I see that, where something might have started off small, it has grown bigger. And maybe you need to just give a look if they're approaching a, you know, milestone, anniversary, anything like that. Maybe it is time to, understand how their marriage got there and celebrate that with them. But what I am seeing, like, the stronger message I am getting here is that there is a relationship that is very, very committed. This seems to be more so in the romantic sense, but you could have, a soulmate that you're not married to. And in that regard, it's, now's the time to take some of that held off on. Now is the time to start applying things to make that marriage component really sparkle and shine, okay? Because everything you're doing, you've been doing great. But you may have had a slippery slope, or you may have had something occur, and you may be at a little bit of a stalemate right now, or anything like that. If there's something that needs a little sparkle and polish, now's the time to apply it, okay? This is going to be the year for that, all right? So let's get your fortune cookie card. Advice from an older person, which will allow you to move on. Signs from about things that matter. It's going to be those that accomplished it, and grandparents, parents, all of that. They are going to be very integral people, because obviously if they're still together, they've endured quite a bit, and they've endured a lot of transition time, and the world has just come a completely different. For your grandparents right now, if you still have them, the world when they were younger is a completely different place than the world is today. They didn't have, you know, computers and cell phones and social media and everything like that, and yet that's the way the world goes around nowadays. So to seek advice from them is to seek a older form of wisdom, a more full-bodied wisdom. So that might be something that you are looking into, those that are derived by the sign of the snake. All right, so and for you, it is communication is the success in bringing happiness forward. Ah, okay. Okie dokie. Well, there he has been there and done that. And you might be a horse. Did we already do snake? So was that horse that we were supposed to have just done? Darn, darn, darn. So like, hey, I need somebody here to help me. Okay, go with goat. So horse was done. Okay, so goat. And I kept saying snake. So the last one was horse. So this is. So this one is goat, goat, goat. Is it lagging a little? All right, I apologize. It is the internet that's being kind of funky. And that was one of the reasons that I waited to do the reading, hoping that you're home. Cool, you can come get this problem that's here, out of here. One of the. I apologize. Hopefully it sticks with us. I can tell because I keep, people dropping out of the reading because probably. Okay. Paradise. So for those under the sign of the goat, your card is Paradise. That's the 21st card in the deck. Okay. Alrighty. You have Paradise card and you have the Four of Staves. So definitely taking that forward approach to achieving something. And it is cards, 4 coins, I'm sorry, with that to fruition. Goals are being met. Things is going to be now for you. There you go. Now is the time to lay down the foundation for your future. So, right now is the time to run that gauntlet. Those that are under the sign of the goat, you have the ability to make pretty much anything happen. And that's definitely like, now is the time, is all I can say to you. Like, if there was something that was in the working, something that you've had planned out, something that, and the fluff is here. And get your scratchy lotto. And we have you that are under the sign of monkey in the Chinese zodiac. This